if you filed your tax return and you're waiting for your refund to come in, but it never does, here are a few reasons why that could be. So the very first reason that I'll mention is that you filed your tax return, but you don't have direct deposit set up on your CRA account. So they ended up mailing you the check. Now, you didn't update the address, so the address they have on file is not the one that you currently live in. So you never received the check that they sent. Okay, so that's a very common mistake that people have in practice. You forget to update the address and they just mail you the check to a different address and it never comes to you, okay? People won't open up your mail, so they won't even know that a check was sent to you, and there's no correspondence in that sense, okay? You can only hope that the receiver sends it back to the CRA. However, that's the first mistake that people have. So a check is actually created, it's sent, but it never reaches you. So make sure you have your direct deposit set up so that this doesn't occur to you. The second thing is depending on the processing times and how you filed. So if you're a non-resident for tax purposes, that's going to be a longer processing file than if you're a resident. The second thing is if you file electronically versus sending in via mail, it's going to take way longer to get assessed via the mail than if you do it online. So that is another reason why you should be filing online anyways. Here you can see that they have the time it takes for processing time. A non-resident return is 16 weeks. You can see what it could be for your T1 right now. They have a list of reasons why you may not receive your refund. It's less than $2. You have an amount owing. There is interest that you do earn on your refund. So here's a fun fact for you. You can actually let's say, pay your account. You can do an installment, right? And then when you have your tax return and they owe you money, you can collect a refund and interest on that refund. Now, how is that interest calculated? You go through the interest for the calendar quarters for that year. So it would be 2025 if you're doing the 2025 return, but this is just info for 2026. You can see here that the interest rate to be paid on non-corporate taxpayer overpayment will be 5%. What does that mean? That means if you put an installment into your CRA account, which is AKA you're loaning them money, they're going to pay you 5% on top of that as interest once you file your return and you receive a refund. So that's actually a cool one that a lot of people don't know, that you can actually, in a way, loan money to the CRA and they'll pay it back with you with interest based on the prescribed rate. So right now it's showing up as 5% for the overpayments. For a non-corporate taxpayer, you're a non-corporate taxpayer, you are an individual. All right, so that's a cool fun fact here. But anyways, not the point. What we want to stick to is why you didn't receive the refund. So that's the second reason, is the processing time is just not in your favor because maybe you didn't file it as you should have online. The third thing here is whether it got assessed as filed. So you may have filed something, but it could have been flagged by the CRA. And what does that mean? That means that there was either a mistake or a trigger, some red flag in their database, and they may have changed it. They may have given you a notice of reassessment, so they may have changed it. They may not have agreed with your return because some amounts are different on their end than what you inputted. The second thing is maybe you're going to get audited and it's not assessed yet. So the very first thing to consider is why is there what kind of creates this red flag? What flags it in their system? There are a couple things. If you had huge medical expenses, big donations, if you had childcare expense, moving expenses, these are all things that are often actually flagged in their system, and that causes these reviews or short little audits for you to send them in. This is nothing for you to be worried about. If you do have these medical expenses and you do have these donations, just make sure you keep proof of the receipt and invoices so that you can send it to them when it gets flagged. But that is something you need to consider. What you file may not be what you get back. You have to look at your notice of assessment online. So once you file, you go online, you go into your CRA account, you click download my notice of assessment, and you see if it was assessed as filed. If not, you may have gotten a notice of reassessment and you may have received nothing. You may have received a different number. So that might be another reason. But these are the three main reasons as to why you haven't gotten your refund yet. Of course, you can always go and give them a call for more information about that. That is always, they have a hotline there that you can call. They're open from a certain amount of time in the day, and they can check that for you as well over the phone. If this video helped, make sure to subscribe to this channel for more practical Canadian tax guidance videos. Remember, this is general information, not personalized tax advice.